Someone's 311 for me? You know who Amanda Miller is?
I have no idea.
Hello.
Hello, is this Miss Miller?
Yes, it is.
Hello, Miss Miller. How can I help?
I need to talk to you about my husband.
Who's your
David
husband?
Miller.
I understand. Where do you want to meet?
Wherever you're available. We are currently at the airport right now.
Do you need? Have you got a vehicle?
We don't.
Okay. We'll come go pick you up from the airport. Who are you with, if you don't mind me asking?
His brother.
Okay.
Christopher.
I'll be there soon.
I'll
Bye-bye.
see you here.
We gotta go. Go grab the scout.
All right.
You aren't doing your help? What the? When did this book get here? Chris, you put this here?
No,
Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Wait.
I'm not.
Whose wife? Come on, guys. Do your homework. If you can hear it, David the Miller. Does anyone remember that name? Oh, shit. Go get the scout, the higher class scout. Not now, not now, not now. Open the fucking book. What the fuck is this? Okay, what is going on? What is going on? Okay, okay. Photographing, I'm photographing. What is this? What is this? Okay, 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 okay. David Miller, for those of you who don't remember, is the guy, the weapons expert that was kidnapped on the 6th of February. Why, we believe the Faceless. Okay, I gotta put this away. Death, the book, delivered, the report pending. I do not want to lose that. Seeker of Death's Throne. His name to be uttered only in the darkest hours of night, lest it summon his presence, was Richard Fritz. Gonna be a long night, people. Buckle in. Right, Chris, hop on to, let's go channel 9. We're going to the airport, where David Miller, who was the individual we believe kidnapped on the 6th of February, in the incident that occurred at Fort Zancudo. His wife and brother are at the airport. They want to speak to her. Oh, me. Are you aware of this incident? I do.
Briefly, yes. When I first got on boarded, I was looking through reports, and I remember seeing something about a kidnapping down at.
Go to reports, get a state marshal reports. There should be one from yesterday when I got delivered a book about the 6th of February by the Oracle. And attached to that is an incident, Fort Zancudo something. I want you to have that open and get familiar quickly so that when these people talk to us, you're able to understand what's going on and take notes, okay?
Are you firm? Do you have any food, by the way?
No. Hey, is this, Miss Miller?
Yes, it is. Are you?
Oh, yes, I'm, Field Director Richard Dawk, that's right. And it's, nice to meet the both of you. It was Christopher, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. You guys, I imagine, live out of state. You come a long way, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
yes, we do.
You
I don't
want
want
to
to
hop
stay
in?
here any longer than I have to.
I understand. Just hop in and we'll head up to our observatory office and we'll get some privacy.
It's been a long flight. I
Can imagine. Where are you coming from?
New York.
Okay. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Miller, this is Marshal Peters on my right. Gonna be assisting us today.
Hello. Nice to meet you guys.
Mr. Peters.
I'd say the same, but it's not a very nice day.
I understand.
Miss Miller, if I may ask, are you here to just inquire in general or something more occurred there?
I haven't seen my husband since February.
I understand. I'm very sorry about what happened, but be assured that we'll find him.
I need to know what you know.
Okay, well, we'll save it for up when we've got a little bit more privacy, okay?
Okay.
You guys need anything? Do you need food or drink or anything like that?
Depending on how long this will take, maybe.
We can always send one of us to a food run if need be.
Yeah, I can do that once we get to the observatory if you like.
Mr. and Mr. Miller, have either of you two received any contact from anybody since David's disappearance?
I've been trying to talk to the army. But they have been very cagey about everything.
They haven't... Have they been doing their own investigation? I mean, we haven't had any contact with them.
I don't know. They told us to contact you.
Wait. I'd like to kind of apologize to both of you already, because we didn't know who David was, and it was very difficult to get any kind of records from anybody, so we didn't realize that... No, at the time, I mean.
Okay.
We didn't realize he had any emergency contacts. You know, David Miller's a very common name, and so it wasn't... And the army didn't exactly kind of leave a calling card for getting contact and get his details, and so I apologize. This is kind of had to come from you first rather than the other way around.
I understand. David's always been a private person.
Were you aware of his work at the time when this happened?
Yes.
Right. Now, I apologize in advance. This place is a bit of a mess at the minute, but it's going to give us the most privacy. Just follow me. Fucking Tessa's here.
How's life?
Shut up, Tessa. Apologies,
Are you
I'm
okay?
not quite. A bit sick. There's I recommend you not stick around in the city too long. There's a virus going around.
I don't intend to stay here any longer than I have to.
Completely understand. Yeah.
I think where I can access. I have a key, I believe.
All right. I'll get you guys signed in and stuff. Like I said, this place is a bit of a mess, but it'll do. Okay. Well, where should we start? I guess I'll leave the floor to you guys. You know, you're the ones who have come here. So how can we help?
I need information about what happened to my husband. He came here for a pit stop on the 6th of February. And I have not heard from him since.
Right.
We've been given no information. No one has told us if he's dead, if he's kidnapped. We have heard nothing.
I will happily, not happily, I will explain what happened. But just for formality's sake, can I get both your IDs and your phone numbers before we begin? Perfect.
Amanda Miller.
Chris, can you snap some photos of those?
There's my phone
Yep.
number.
There is my ID. And here is my card.
Perfect. Okay. On the 6th of February, the information that we have is that you are correct. Your husband was being escorted by the U.S. Armed Forces. They had a pit stop here at Fort San Cudo, just up the road to the north. And to the best of our knowledge, a group of individuals intercepted that escort, and they took your husband and your brother.
Oh my god.
They kidnapped him?
That's the information that we have and what we believe to have happened, yes. Very sorry, Miss Miller.
He's alive, right? He's still alive.
We've received no intelligence to suggest otherwise.
Nothing? Do you know anything else? Have you been looking into it?
This we believe to be part of a much bigger investigation. And as such far, since the February 6th, there hasn't been any... we've intercepted text messages, phone calls, and there's been no chatter about your husband, which can be good news. Sometimes no news is good news. Now, I know that's probably hard to hear, but if I may ask some questions in return, it might help clarify the situation.
Okay.
Now, David, what exactly did he do for the military?
He made military grade weapons.
Okay. Now, what exactly are we talking here? We're talking firearms, explosives?
Anything you can imagine. Obviously, he keeps it very quiet. He can't talk about that stuff. But
All we do know is that military graded him very highly. He was a very important person in that line of work.
Okay. Now, he was taken on February 6th. That's the information we have. And I know I asked in the call, but to clarify, you haven't heard either from David or from anybody else since that date. Is that correct?
That is correct. I've had nothing at all.
we've been trying to talk to the army. I've called them, I've emailed them, I've done everything. The only thing they've told us is that someone died and the marshals know more.
There was fatalities involved in the incident. There was 2, perhaps 3, of David's armed guard were shot and fatally injured during that situation.
They I know David knows a lot, but how could something like this happen? He was only here to refuel.
It's a very difficult situation, and the local law enforcement responded, but they were responding to an incident they didn't really know what was happening. It was very reactive. There wasn't a lot of time to prepare. We had no idea there was there was going to be a pit stop for a military aircraft.
Did you see him?
Like
Did you see it happen?
I wasn't there personally, ma'am. This is all information that has been gathered after the fact. But there was officers that I believe saw David be put into a vehicle and driven away. Now, like I said, no news can be good news, and from what you've told me, with David being an expert on military-grade weaponry, I can inform you that the investigation surrounding this is to do with a local, I say local, possibly larger than local, terrorist organization known as the Faceless. I don't know how far reaching that name has been on the news or that kind of thing.
The Faceless.
Yes, ma'am.
This
This
is the first I'm hearing of that name ever.
They've been
Is this
operating.
a terrorist organization?
That's correct, ma'am. Yeah.
How is this not on all the news stations?
That's a good question. It's a good question. Probably best taken up with people above my pay grade. When I say that, that might be good news, because so far we've received no kind of threats on David's life from anybody involved. We've received no kind of hostage negotiations or anything like that. But specifically, with David having the expertise he does, it's possible that this organization may have David working for them involuntarily. I know that's not very nice to hear, but like I said, we've had no intelligence to believe that David's been injured as of yet. It's more than
God.
likely that David is being held captive by this group.
Is there any leads as to where he could be?
He wouldn't help them unless he was under extreme distress. He takes the security and the privacy of all of this extremely seriously. He would never tell someone that. He would never help someone with that.
I completely understand, ma'am, and I don't doubt David's a very honourable man. But he may be in a very difficult situation at the minute that we're doing our best to get him out of.
Are you saying he's being tortured?
I don't know, man. We don't have any intelligence on David currently, like I said.
Please, you need to find out more.
Believe me, man, we are actively, and we're looking into this on the daily, into the Faceless and David. We'll find him. I'm not one to make promises I can't keep. We will find David. And whenever we do get any information, we'll reach out to the both of you and keep you in the loop.
Okay.
Now, is there any information you can think of at all that might be of importance here? Did David say anything before he left? Was there worries at work? Was he
never really
acting?
discloses anything when it comes to his work. He'd give us heads up on when he's leaving, how long for. He'd usually contact us. But it's been super long and we've not heard anything.
Okay. Well, like I said, we got our best people looking into this, and you know, doing our absolute best. And like I said, we will get him back. And I know it's not nice to hear, but we have more than enough reason to believe that wherever David is, he is alive, and he's very likely
Okay.
working for these people.
He's alive. He has to be alive. He's going to be okay, right? Ah!
It's okay. My blood sugar's just low.
Like I said, we have the best people looking into this case. He
You
will be.
better bring him back.
We'll get David back, ma'am. I promise you that.
And not in a body bag.
Not in a body bag.
I'm trusting you. Please bring my David back home. Chris, can you take over the rest of this?
I sure can, Amanda.
Sure there's nothing else you'd be able to tell us that would help us with this?
I feel like we know as much as you do. He doesn't really say too much about his work. I don't know if he's crossed any paths and created enemies with any other intelligence across the globe. He's in and out of the state very often throughout the year.
Who
And he's
was
very
aware?
careful about who he talks to.
Yeah, who was aware of his work other than family and, friends?
I think that's as far as it goes. I don't think he's ever spoken word or says his occupation to anybody else.
Okay.
Because if that information gets in the wrong hands, the worst case scenario could happen. And I feel like we are living in that worst case scenario.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. That's I can't imagine what your family's going through. So
It's been a month. It's been a rough month. I've been trying to keep strong for myself, for Amanda, for the rest of the family. And it's taken a toll on us.
are you guys getting the help you need back home in New York?
Yeah, we're a strong unit together. And we're doing our best.
What you can do, really. Have Amanda and Davey got any kids yet?
Not yet. He's super busy, and taking up fatherhood right now is not on the cards.
Get that. Okay. Well, like I said, we'll be in touch. Perhaps Yeah, I'm gonna hand you my card, and it's got my email on it. If
Okay.
if either of you two kind of have any questions, be sure to either give me a call or shoot me an email, and I can also email you if we get any updates. All right.
That would be great. That's all we ask for.
Well, we'll get you guys a lift back to the airport. Have you got a flight booked, or are you staying the night here?
We do have a flight booked. It's in the evening, but I don't think we want to stick around town much longer. So we'll get on out of here.
Okay. I'll ask Chris here to give you guys a lift back to the airport, and I'll carry on looking into this and attempt to get.
No, we need to stay here.
Okay.
We need to stay here until we find him. He's here. He's here, isn't he?
Miss Miller, we don't
Can't
know
leave him.
where he is. It's completely up to the both of you what you do, but I mean, 2 seconds.
Just give me a minute. I have Perry.
I guess we'll have to find a hotel to stay at.
My advice is, in situations like this, the best place to be is home. This is not. I'll be blunt and honest. Los Santos and San Andreas is not a nice place to be right now. Crime's through the roof. There's a virus going around. I can contact you if we get any information at all, and you can be on the next flight out.
But David is here.
You heard the man, Amanda. It's not safe for us to be here.
It's not safe for David to be here. My husband is out there probably being tortured by a terrorist organization, and you want to leave? You want to leave him here?
I want David to be found. That's what I want. Whatever it takes.
It's up to the both of you. But whatever you decide, if you want some time to think about it, that's fine. And just let me know whenever you want to lift to either a hotel or the airport. I can do that.
Okay.
And Miss Miller, Chris here is Christopher has got my card with my number and my email if you ever have any questions or anything like that.
Okay.
Right. Well, I'll give you two some time to think about what you want to do, and I'll get my marshal here sorted out. So just come and give me a shout whenever you're ready. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
You doing, Chris? What is this shit? It's tomfoolery.
My blood sugar. Perry's
Well,
bringing food.
who is it? Perry?
Perry. She called me and I texted her.
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
The black collar just pulled up outside.
The what? Black car?
Like a black Tesla. Did you at least write shit down between passing out?
I did.
Thank God. Poor
I
people.
mean, to be fair, there wasn't. We didn't really get a whole lot of information.
These
but
poor people are going through hell, Chris, and all you can think about is your empty stomach. It's ridiculous.
Sorry. I'll do a lap around the observatory. Whatever.
No, because you'll just pass out. You'll hit your head, and it's terrible. You know, I was gonna. You didn't even stop me to say I shouldn't drive, Richard, because I'll pass out the wheel, and then these people will end up in hospital.
Because Barry's on her way here with food. It'll be sort of.
We're going to stay for 1 week,
You're gonna stay for a week, yeah?
and then we'll leave.
Okay.
1 week.
Okay.
Keep us as updated as possible.
Absolutely.
I'm trusting you, okay? I'm trusting you. Please bring my husband back home. Please.
You'll see your husband again, man. I promise you that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Perry's here.
Come on, we'll get you guys to a hotel. After you. You guys, but you don't have a key?
No.
Is he okay, Doc?
Don't worry about him. He's fine. He's okay. Donkey. Embarrassing. Perry, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. Did the dumbass really pass out?
Yeah, she's at the top of the ramp. If you could go help him, please, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh.
Christopher, if you could make sure you get my number to Amanda.
I did, yes.
Okay.
Thank you for taking the time to have a sit down with us.
No,
it
of
really means a
course,
lot.
of course. Like I said, you guys need anything at all, just be sure to give me a ring, or not around, just shoot me an email, and I'll see it when I wake up in the morning, and we can touch base, you know.
Of course, yes.
Where am I going?
The nearest
Any
hotel.
hotel.
Hotel. Let's get you down to the Richmond, then I'll pay for the week. All right.
Thank you.
Very much.
I'm glad my husband has someone like you on the case.
We're doing our best, ma'am. I can assure you. And if you get any kind of strange contact from anybody while you're here, you know, no matter what, even if it's just a car that you've seen twice in your rear view, just let us know, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
David have any... I know this might sound like a strange question, but David have any hobbies or talents or anything?
He liked to play football with his friends. They'd always meet up. Every week. Well, when he could, at least, when he wasn't busy. He was busy a lot.
Yeah, it's a pretty important job.
Yeah, he loves his work. You know, he didn't talk about it much, but I could tell he's really passionate about it. You know, protecting our country.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was because of his work we decided not to have children. He wanted some, but it just, with him being away and with things being as dangerous as they were, we decided it wouldn't be safe.
No. Yeah, it's an understandable decision to make. Kids are a lot of hard work. And if you don't
Yeah.
have the time, it's a difficult situation. Well, you, like I said, if you think of anything else, anything that might be important, just be sure to give me a call or an email. This place is I've heard good things. You know, this hotel. It's probably one of the nicest places in town. So, I'll leave you here. Like, I'll give my name to the people at the desk. So just, you know, run out the chair if you want to. It's no issue. Money's no issue. Okay.
Thank you.
Very kind. Thank you very much.
It was
Thank you.
nice to meet you both. I apologize about the circumstances.
Yeah. All right, Chris.
Will the Millers live through the week? Oh God, dude. That is not no. This is not good. Oh 07. 07, dude. Rip the Millers. I can see the fucking headlines now. Miller family found dead in hotel room. Where am I going? Well, now I feel bad. Now I feel bad for not fucking investigating David Miller in the first place, dude. At least the dead dot doesn't keep false promises. Yep. Yeah. Then we got fucking Pred trying to call us midway. Pred's like, I'm gonna be your director. And then Doc on the other side of things is like dealing with the fucking terrorists and the family of a kidnapped weapons expert and a fucking supernatural chicken man who's involved in the fucking death and pestilence. Yeah, but sure, Brad, you know, you keep going on about the fucking director position, man. It's important. That's so important. They could go screaming for the face in the middle of town. They could, yeah. Grampy, thank you for the 10 gifted, buddy.
Suspended.
You're suspended.
Grampy, thank you so much, dude. You just made 10 people's day, because we got the cutest heckin' emotes on Twitch, dude. It is 35% off gifted subs right now. Better keep that promise. Wait, Tommy, were you fucking Amanda? Listen. I think it's very rude that me, the self-named emotional terrorist, gets emotionally terrorized. It was kind of rude. That the fuck is this, man? That was 10 out of 10. Dude. That was cinema. That was cinema. That was great. We'll see how this plays out. It's going to be interesting. Most of the terrorists fight each other. Yeah, I'm sure the Millers are going to be absolutely fine, and nothing's going to happen to them. This isn't, you know, this isn't ominous. I'm sure they'll be fine, guys. You know? The book? Don't even get me started on the fucking book, dude. We're gonna go from fucking the family of a kidnapped weapons expert for the Faceless to looking into death and pestilence from a fucking book involving the chicken man. The fuck, dude? Where's Chris at? Make sure he's alright.
Hey, Dark.
Hey,
I'm all sorted.
You okay? You with Perry?
Yep.
Okay, alright. Alright, I'm just checking you weren't kidnapped or anything. I checked them into the Richmond for a week, so they're all
okay.
Propped up. Yeah, I'll throw up a report now. Just check whatever you got in it. I'm thinking about maybe keeping their names and everything redacted.
Okay.
Maybe just say that we spoke to the family of David Miller, and we'll go from there. We don't need to make a report about them. We'll make a report about David Miller, and then we'll just include that we spoke to the family, and you know, keep the contact records between me and yourself. All right.
Yeah. I will I tried transcribing what I could, but once
you don't need to transcribe it, mate. This just I took notes as well.
Yeah, I got the important bits, but we really didn't learn anything.
Nothing new,
So.
but you know, it was worth a shot, really. Kind of sucks that I feel bad that we haven't done more to look for him. And it sounds like the army hasn't been doing much either. So.
That's the thing. Like the army's gonna know the most information about David, what he was working with, who he was working with, why he was working with, and we have zero contact to the army. So
yeah. I'm wondering whether the army has kind of kept this off the books because maybe they've recognized some of the stuff coming out of San Andreas and they recognize his handiwork or something, and they, you know, wanted to keep it, you know, under the coal pit, as it were. So,
well, yeah, but now that he's missing, I feel like they would try to contact, well, you know, at least us to inquire more about it.
Yeah.
But
okay. Well, I appreciate the help apart from the passing out. So,
yeah.
Thanks.
I need a key. So for the observatory, I do need a key. I don't know if it's a panel or if it's just considered a government building, but
no, there is a panel, and I'll get you a key as well. All right.
All right.
I'll catch up with you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Start.
Dark.
I'm reading.
Dark.
I'm busy.
Water.
Water? Shit. Thank you. As above, so below, as within, so without. The quote, as above, so below. What's it from, though? What's it from? It is... Oh, it's a quote from Hermetic philosophy. What we were talking about earlier today.
I'm gonna try something.
As beloved.
Stop stirring.
Where's my book? Where's my book? I'm not going to be able to find it in here. As within, so without. As above, so below. The universe, so the soul. This philosophy... Why? What? No way. Wait! I talked about this earlier today, the fucking Emerald Tablet! As above, so below is a popular modern paraphrase of the second verse of the Emerald Tablet. That which is above is like that to which is below, and that which is below is like that to which is above. They're around. That's what's important. They're around it. So below. We know that this guy potentially... You know what? I'm going to the golf course. We know that from talking to... Let me turn this off for now. We know that Edgar was kidnapped and ended up at the golf course. And then 3 members of what we believe to be the Faceless well, they turn up at his fucking grapeseed house playing golf. And then this same guy tweets out, tee off. I think it's a good place to start. Wait, is Edgar around there? Homies Trimagritrus, whatever the fuck it is the... Hold on, I'm trying to focus on where I'm going. It means, what was it again? It was like thrice... Something... I can't remember what it was. I think it was thrice king or something along those lines. I can't remember. We literally read it early today. Thrice crowned, maybe? It might have been thrice crowned.
You guys suck so much ass.
Fuck you, golf course, man. I'm looking for terrorists. Wolfen, thank you for the 6 months, buddy. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for supporting the stream, dude. What's that? Is that a hole? Just a hole. Nobody here. Dear.
Hey, Dark.
Chris, can you check ATC for me and let me know if there's any planes in the air or anything like that?
We're getting jumped by besties.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm ran up to City Hall real quick.
That's fine. Just hop on channel 9.
Okay.
All right, yeah, hop on channel 9 and let me know, all right? Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Sounds good.
Oh, sorry, it's down. I'm gonna go for Sankudo. And then I'm gonna go to Edgar's house. I don't trust him, but what's his face around yet? He's not. Okay. Triple Tree is not around yet. McNaughty. It's so cryptic, man. As above, so below. I think we might get some answers from the hermetic texts and shit like that. You know what? I got a question. What comes after the green tablet? What comes after this? Yeah, we don't trust McNaughty now. Because of everything that happened with Oshira.
All right. It looks like there's nothing on HTC at the moment.
Copy it. Okay, am I going crazy? Is this not the fucking thing from... Has anyone seen Dark? The TV show? Is this not that? I gotta fucking find it. Dark Tattoo, was it? Dark TV show. This? It is! Okay, okay. Wait. Did I miss this from the show? Because wasn't one of the main characters called fucking Heinrich? Okay, hold on. You know what? Let's not get into that, man. I'm fucking going crazy, man. The 7 stages of alchemical transformation? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Where the fuck? Oh my god. Where's it written out? I need to see it fucking written out, man. This is the English translation by Isaac Newton. Can I see the reference, please? Here we go. That which is below is like that which is above, that which is likely to be miracles one thing. As with all things have been and arose by one, you meditation of one, so all things have their birth in this one thing by meditation. Yeah, but how can that fucking help us? The sun is the father, the moon is its mother, the wind hath carried its belly, the earth is its north. Part of all perfection, the whole world is here. It's too fucking trippy, man. I don't know. What I'm gonna... I think that was the chicken, man. Okay. That's normal. The EMS car? Oh, it's Survivor, innit? Anything here? I didn't even check. We need to go check to see if that black car that we saw opposite Edgar's house in that photograph is here. It doesn't look like it. Oh, there's no fucking planes taking off. There's nothing parked here. Make sure there's no more tweets. Okay, maybe I'm going crazy here. As above, so below. AASB are all capitalized, but yeah, there isn't. AASB. Solve me an anagram. AASB. That's the only word there. A fabric woven from goat hair and camel hair. I doubt that's it. Okay. I think that's a coincidence, I'll be honest, though. Oh my god, it's Sam Bass. You're right. Sam Bass is the Faceless. We should have guessed it. And then the Faceless is famine. Because Sam Bass is eating everything. We thought they were war this whole time. Realize, dog. Is this guy in the lemon list? What am I doing? Not on the lemon list. For all we know, this guy's just a fucking history buff. Changed his name. And I was just spouting shit from the fucking hermetic texts, you know? Rich does not want to fucking hang out. Dude, there's too much shit going on. Fucking Richard Fritz around giving his fucking backstory. Fucking Hermes, some ancient philosophers spouting on Twitter. Uh-oh. My frames. I feel like I've got to check Mount Chiliad. Seeing that green tablet makes me think of all the fucking symbols on top of Chiliad. I don't know why. And then along with a tweet that's like, as above, so below. What about if it's like the Chiliad bunker? I don't know, dude. I got shit going through my brain at fucking 10 million miles an hour.
Legal mechanism to force a quarantine, though, right? Or am I? So, just to, because obviously I don't have all the facts and telephone and rumor mills and whatever. The impression that was given to me is that there is no legal means to quarantine someone, and if someone refuses to be quarantined, there's nothing law enforcement or medical can do to counter that. That seems. If that is true, that seems a little backwards, and I think it's important to figure out what the story is with it. Tomorrow could come, and there could be an entire 7 people, right, sick as shit, refusing the quarantine and getting the entire island.
Nino equals 7. Writing that.
That would be just talking to do you is there a legal means of us actually quarantining them, or like legally keeping them quarantined?
I'm trying to think. It would depend on how informed they are of what they have. And it's kind of at that point, it'd be like if they are willfully disregarding the quarantine, they're becoming a danger to others.
I mean,
Like
in this,
Nino said.
Yeah, in this case, you got Chatterbox who should have been quarantined, but we didn't know. Like, he got, on his estimate, 45 people sick with this fever, with this black vein fever. And while some people, are fine, we've got like Jaina
That's
who got
news
sick
to
it,
me.
who's in the ICU and has been in the ICU since it
Oh,
happened and has had multiple complications.
I would. Could you not just make the argument that it's, you bring someone in, you say, look, you're contagious, you need to be quarantined, and you not remaining quarantined is effectively attempted murder.
Or
You're just
reckless
being out
endangerment,
there.
at least.
And
Yeah.
the thing is, while no one has succumbed to this sickness as of yet, I mean, the earmarks of it getting to that point are there. Like, at some point, people will hit that phase where they will need to be in ICU, and it just isn't happening at the same rate for everyone. Some people are getting hit with it earlier than others. Like, so while some people are walking around just fine, and they've got the cough and they're coughing up blood, others are being ICU'd almost immediately. So, like, it is a dangerous disease, and it does have the potential to kill people. It just luckily has not taken anyone's life as of yet.
Yeah,
Do you think that's enough to say that it can be attempted murder?
I feel like that would be an argument legally.
Yeah.
I'd say reckless endangerment, at least.
I think for sure reckless endangerment.
From your medical perspective, can this kill?
It 100% can. Again,
sure.
Does it have a high propensity to kill?
Yes. I mean,
then I think attempted murder.
But do the people doing it know that?
It doesn't matter.
I mean, it'd be at least manslaughter if anything happens. At least if anybody dies to it.
Whenever we get one of them up there to test them, we normally like explain it fully to them, what it is, what it can do, and like not what it can do, but like we tell them exactly like how they're going to feel.
And also, let's be real here. Everyone calls it the plague, and knowingly that it's dangerous and that it's deadly. Like they know that it's deadly.
Yeah, I mean, in the case of Chatterbox, he weaponized it, right?
If you're able to charge someone with attempted murder for getting someone sick in this sense, then to me it seems as though you should be able to charge someone with attempted murder for selling any drug that has a high overdose rate. Like you're intentionally giving someone something that could kill them, but you are not directly causing them harm, and you have no way of knowing whether or not it's going to kill them.
I think the difference there would be that they aren't making that person take the drug in this instance. The person doesn't have a choice on whether they get sick or not.
Yeah. Also, in this situation, Chatterbox was strictly stated that this is a disease that could kill him, and he said, "Okay, well, if I'm going out, I'm taking others with me."
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would have to be figured out in court. I don't know.
But in terms of like quarantining people, right now it's not like the cleanest mechanism, but if PD did an investigative hold, but that would make them have to be in the prison, mostly.
But then you deal with the issue of if everyone who's sick goes in the prison becomes just a
exactly the
meat
problem.
grinder of giving people illness.
No, I wasn't around when these existed before, but Nino, you may have a better ideas. 5150 is a type of thing that could be used for this.
We
don't have a facility.
Yeah.
We do have the SEMA camp
okay.
though.
Problem is we don't have the ability to hold them within there.
Yeah, that's the ultimate. Yeah.
We would have to have PD up there like 24/7, and I don't think that's a possibility.
Yeah, the biggest issue here is feasibility, right? Like even if we have the legal mechanism for saying, "Hey, you're under quarantine and you have to be quarantined," we're still relying on them not getting broken out. And a lot of these people that are getting sick are criminals that have a lot of means of getting themselves out of things. And what do we do in that regard? Like, we can't really do much. it doesn't mean we shouldn't try, but still.
Let me pose a hypothetical. 5150s don't exist because there's no Parsons doesn't have locks. We may not have the ability to quarantine a living weapon because there is no separate facility for it. But we have Bolingbrook. When we're presented with an option between a individual that can be a harm to others and harm to themselves, in the case of a 5150, and a biological weapon walking around, marking people through the disease, why wouldn't we just put them in Bolingbrook? I mean, that's a much safer option to the majority.
Be fair.
And if the time were to eventually come where there is a facility in Bolingbrook, right, carved out for 5150s, or a facility broken up for quarantines, then we advance.
What
Isn't
about
that the
There's
lesser of
solitary
two evils?
confinement in the prison.
Yeah, but the lifers and stuff, right?
Yeah, the lifers. There's
Lifers.
already one DOC that's gotten sick.
And then there's also the thing of we would have to work
So-
with DOC medical as well.
So here,
God forbid.
okay. I think it's possible. To be fair, I mean, like since like you said, the mechanism's there at least in that regard for Bolingbrook. Could we not help them set up SOPs to kind of deal with it? So like if we're sending someone up who's infectious, they have to be available to be able to take care of it so that they can quickly get them into a quarantine space. I mean, there's multiple areas in the prison where they can put someone and kind of, keep them in that area only so that they're quarantined, right?
I would think so. I mean, it's like a lesser of two evils. It's you let them run rampant in the openly throughout San Andreas versus at least it's a controlled environment.
Yeah, I mean, it would be more work on them because they would have to. I mean, obviously they wouldn't be able to free reign the prison, so they'd have to bring them food and whatnot. But I mean, at least that way the person would be quarantined for the time being.
There's also that avenue too. Like recently, Bolingbrook got the the lifer facility. I don't think it's unfeasible that if a 5150 program or a quarantine program were to become successful in Bolingbrook, like it started to get legs, that there couldn't be. I would see that being more reason why construction may find itself up there, like fucking, crack open one of the locked up segments. And
I mean, I think Gary could carve like a spot in that place to do this. It just depends on how many people is going to be up there.
Well, I'm not saying that space that currently exists, but another facility.
No, but just in the meantime, while waiting on another place.
Yeah, I think facility or no facility, it does make sense to put people in Bolingbrook for this kind of thing. But I would also say that it would maybe be necessary to have additional support for DOC up there, in terms of either like having the ability for doctors to go in and out, in order to give support for, people who are sick in there, but also, maybe marshal support for DOC in there, in case anything happens in that regard.
Well, they can. So, in the meantime, work around just spitballing here. If someone is considered a 5150 with black vein fever, we send them up, but have DOC before you send them up. Make sure DOC are aware and to know that intercept them and maybe put them in AdSec. Maybe a section in AdSec where they can't escape. I know that I think there's like a large open cell area. That way, if you're dealing with patients that are claustrophobic, which I know Chatterbox is, we're not dealing with a whole nother situation there. So temporarily put them in AdSec. That way they're not being a current danger inside the prison, infecting everyone else.
I would also point out though that they, we've had the issue in the past a couple of times where people in prison have died because there's not enough medical personnel in there, and if they're not being taken care of sufficiently. And I would be very worried that, especially because you've got Christian Toe, that's the only doctor able to get in there. EMS can't go into the prison. Doctors can't go into the prison except for, I guess, with marshal approval. And the worry would be if you put them in ADSEC
Marshal
and then forget
approval.
about them for a certain amount of time, you might end up with a bunch of dead people. And that's, they're a danger to everyone else, but they're also in danger because they have a disease that could kill them.
Who's to say that doctors can't go into Bolingbroke?
Our head doctor, the board of directors.
Hmm.
We've never had the authority to go into Bolingbroke. Our only authority is within the Central Medical Center and Sandy Shores Medical Center.
Well, I think this is beyond like a scope of authority, though. I mean, we're
Yeah.
dealing with a plague. I feel like they should weigh this a little differently than you guys just rolling up there at will.
What are next steps? Who would need to sign off, or there's a lot of opinions here, but is it fair to say we're kind of going in circles at this point? Who would be the decision makers on this, one way or another?
I think it'd have to be probably, in terms of prison staff, it's probably got to be a decision between the warden, justices, and then I guess the mayor's office. Well, obviously, the doctors
Not
do.
like the
but-
mayor's offices would matter.
Sorry, say
Keep
that
in
again,
mind
Lee?
here as
Probably
well.
wife.
This I feel like this should only be used in a sense of like if it's someone who's actively not going to listen, because people have willingly
Agreed.
quarantined up at,
Yeah.
at
That's true.
Sandy, and I think that should be respected. If they're willing to just be up there like they should, then they should be able to, like, because we've had plenty of patients that have done that now. Princess was one of them. Barrick was fine, and so so was Ember. They all willingly sat there like they should have and were fine. So I don't want to put people in a situation where they should be be put in prison, for no reason ultimately. Like if they're willing to be up at Sandy, I think that is a perfect mechanism as long as they're willing to stay there in quarantine correctly.
Yeah.
Like extreme cases of 5150 and extreme cases of patients that need to be quarantined for public health.
Yeah.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just clarification question. Isn't 5150 for people who?
It's usually a
Are-
psych thing, right?
Yeah, I thought it was like
Mhm.
a psych thing,
It's
but
like
I guess
psych
But I mean-
hold, and there's no
So
legislation.
why does that
for it
apply
right
here?
now.
Well, like,
It's two separate topics with a similar solution.
Yeah.
it
Okay,
could be
so-
argued that
okay.
someone who's willingly going around infecting people with a lethal disease is, perhaps psychologically compromised.
I mean, I would argue that you could say that about half the city. But yes, I understand what you're saying.
I wouldn't say that there's necessarily overlap. It's that it's two cases in which we haven't had a mechanism by which to handle them. But in
I see
both
what you're
cases,
saying.
it can be very egregious, like a person that might murk people and eat their flesh. They become a danger to society and themselves. I feel like this kind of if something needed to be put forward, it probably needs to start with Sama and then maybe sign off by all legislative authorities, since it hits, the
Every
mayors in
sector.
terms of, like, the what's the word I'm looking for? Because it is a restriction of freedom, right? But then it
Yeah.
falls into Sama in terms of the medical aspects, both the psych aspect and the disease aspect, and then of course a Department of Justice, since you guys operate, the DOC runs under you.
Mhm.
I also think in general, the whole doctors not being allowed in the prison thing has only caused problems. Disease aside, there have definitely been multiple situations where the prison just doesn't have enough medical staff and someone is severely injured or sick, and fixing that issue, I think, is perhaps
It's a
broader
meeting
scope
about
than what
the
we're discussing right
plague
now, but I
stuff,
think it's very
Sabi,
important.
that we didn't know about until like before the meeting had already started. So
when you guys say it's like a board of directors thing, that's like Derek Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot about that. Right. Wait, do you think they'd be on board with this?
It's a 50-50 because it's very hard to try and get in contact with him
Where's
at the same
V?
time.
Is he even aware that
No idea.
there is?
Mm-hmm.
Is he even aware of black vein fever?
If
we
we're talking about Derek,
informed
he's a
him.
little bit, yes. He's not like fully informed by any means because he hasn't asked many questions, but he has been told that it exists. Yes.
Yep.
I contacted him, I think 2 weeks ago. He can weigh in when needed.
Yeah, he said that to me too, but never got back to me on something.
I think if, let's say, something like this needed to move forward on, I personally think the best option would be having a piece of legislation and then sending it his way and being like, here's the problem set, here's the solution, here's the legislation. What's your opinion? Or what's the contention points? And then going from there.
I got slightly distracted. What are we asking, Derek?
If we were to move forward on this, like, solution for 5150 holds and
Yep.
for extreme quarantine holds, given the board of directors would need to weigh in on that.
That's fair. Yeah, I can push it to him and see what his thoughts are on it as well. But I do think what you said is good. Probably get the legislation written that way he can kind of look over it and see what it entails and make a decision based off that.
I know this is your meeting
all
there,
these
so
phone
I don't want us to
calls,
hijack it. Was it? Is this? Did we talk about the black vein thing sufficiently, or are there other areas that you wanted to discuss in regards to?
I think
Benny?
we talked about most of it, but then it's also the. I want the marshals to. I want to ask the marshals a favor, and to keep on checking humane labs.
True. Yeah, I think that's something that we need to discuss more in detail.
Because my contact with Inhumane Labs, I know that Chris has already taken a report for this, so Doc, you should be able to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Princess, I didn't tell you this fully because I wanted to wait until we weren't on the phone call to each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
There was 112.5 milliliters of treatment for the black vein fever that was destroyed at Humane Labs.
What the fuck?
Yes.
That's like 300 something.
That's enough for 300 patients.
What, 3 days ago?
Intentionally?
I don't know. I don't know if this was intentional or not, but somebody went in there and destroyed it.
Yeah, it was as far as I'm aware, there was an interception to a transport that the individuals intercepting it may not have known what they were destroying. They were doing so for, it was like a contracted thing.
They were just told to destroy things, basically.
Yeah, they weren't told what they were doing. Mercenary kind of thing.
What I was
They admitted
told,
this?
I got contact from Dr. Smith, the individual involved, and he said he had no hand in this.
That's what he told me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so in other words, it's not credible information.
That's another thing.
I haven't.
But who was the contact in Humane Labs though? I mean, you have one besides him.
We're keeping that
the name secret because
confidential.
Oh right. I'm not asking for the name.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, did someone say this that wasn't Dr. Smith?
Wait,
or was it all like was Dr. Smith the only person that has said something about this?
Oh,
in which case,
Dr. Smith said that, but the thing is, I was told by my contact about the entire thing. I've been in communication with them to try and hopefully get the treatment and hopefully help in some way. But since that incident,
I
he has
got
not
questions about
contacted
this,
me.
Perry. So this contact in Say Humane Labs that supposedly had this cure, were we? I guess PD and law
You were
enforcement.
informed. You were
We
informed
were.
originally of the original, because there was one shipment I was meant to get, but that one was stolen.
Is that the
I
one
But
like
I
about a
remember,
month
I remember
ago?
that. But I'm on about this one that you're on about.
This one I was only informed about literally a couple days ago when he told me it was destroyed. I didn't even know there was a shipment coming to me.
Why would we not have been informed about the actual transport so
don't
we
know.
could protect it?
I think I don't know either. That's
No
why
Yeah,
I'm
police
there
were
there were
informed,
no reports
nothing.
made in regards to information about the transport either. I scrubbed through them and looked.
And I'm assuming we have no idea who it was that intercepted it.
There are, I believe PD has possibly pinpointed somebody who might have done it, a group that might have done it, but they're working on possibilities right now. They don't know, but it lines up, is what they said.
So it sounds to me like law enforcement had no idea,
Mhm.
and there may potentially be a police report about, you know, some blown up thing, and inside of it might be a bunch of like rotting, treatment. I guess. I'm with you entirely, Dark. I'm
Oh, no.
floored by this as well.
Yeah. I will say, and I'm not trying to kind of sow dissent here or whatever the fuck the term is, but I've got valid intelligence that there was individuals inside Humane Labs, at least prior, that were working with the Faceless. So
That's
we've
what I
got
was going to.
we've got to take everything that comes out of anybody at that lab with a grain of salt. And I recommend relying on people in the SAMG to try and figure this out versus outside sources.
Yeah, and I don't like the aspect of using Humane Labs right now very much, but I mean,
Yeah.
like, also we're
We've
coming
been
up
trying to
empty
do
on
it.
trying to create our own. So I unless they're willing to share their information,
Which is
so that
what
we
I've
can
been trying
actually
to do. I've been
try
trying.
and produce it ourselves, I don't know what we can do.
Yeah, if we had gotten that, if we had gotten those treatments, I imagine that wouldn't have necessarily even been like we
Well,
don't
we-
even know what that is.
Humane Labs isn't a conglomerate, though, right?
What do you mean?
So when I sort of rewind history, way back to like a year ago, with the original Black Goo, and then the situation, like I think it was like a week or so afterwards with the Faceless and some scientists, and fast forward again, there's like this entity working in Humane Labs, another entity. What I'm trying to say is that the Humane Labs, the people that work there aren't necessarily a conglomerate.
I get what you're saying. There's a lot of shit that goes down at Humane Labs.
Precisely. And,
yeah.
And I am, from my understanding, there are individuals quite legitimate that have worked out of Humane Lab.
No,
The
yeah,
problem
yeah.
is verifying the
right.
legitimacy, right?
Yeah, and especially of an actual product that comes out of there. I think probably
No. Pause.
the only use of that treatment would have been for you guys to test on it and see if there's a way to learn from it. But I don't think that it would have made sense to.
Well,
I
did
mean,
the serum
actually give people that?
But so this antidote or whatever you want to call it,
treatment,
the treatment, did it come out of Humane Labs? Is that what was destroyed?
Yes.
Yes.
So we know that it was manufactured at Humane Labs and it was supposed to make its way to the hospital?
Supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know that we know that they are producing these treatments at Humane Labs. That for a fact we know. As far as this
do we even
shipment,
know anyone over there?
She has a contact.
Yeah, only my contact.
And that contact works for Humane Labs?
Yes.
How much do you trust them?
Like, is it? Do they even have credentials?
Everything they've told me so far has been very truthful.
But do you trust that they are producing legitimate treatments? Do you know who they work for? Do you know who's paying them? I mean,
I got
telling
one
the
of the-
truth is one thing. Dr. Isaac Smith tells the truth.
One of the treatments that was stolen back in the day, that's one of the ones I took.
I feel like I just missed
That
a
was
chapter.
forced.
Isn't
When
Dr.
I was-
Isaac Smith the guy that spreads the plague? I mean, the last
Yes.
last thing I
Yes.
know is the book.
Yeah, no, he does. I only brought him up
Yeah.
because there's people who tell the truth but are still not to be trusted.
This person, I believe, is to be trusted. Everything he said to me has been truthful so far.
And just to clarify, there's a difference between this treatment and the cure that that Dr. Isaac produces.
From what I can tell, possibly, yes.
So this like biological terrorist is also making cures to his own terrorism?
Okay, to clarify, Dr. Smith is not Perry's contact inside Humane Labs.
No, yeah.
Right.
They're different people.
Two different people.
Yes. Dr. Isaac Smith or Pestilence, as it were, does not work at, nor is he, working for Humane Labs.
This is all very confusing to me.
Well, I mean, this entire situation is a little confusing considering it's not a natural sickness in and of itself. It's dealing with a fucking horseman. So, I mean, let's be honest.
Saying the quiet part out loud there, Jackie. Fucking hell.
I want to ask. There's no horses. They drive cars.
Okay, it doesn't matter if they're cars.
Yeah, I know, but they're like horses. They're not riding around on horses.
Okay.
His point is that it's just a weird thing we're dealing with. Is all he's trying to say.
This isn't okay. So I the best way I can place this for everyone in the room to understand is this is not a natural sickness that is happening. Hey, we can go in and study.
You didn't
it
need to bring it up, man.
This is
just didn't
something
need to bring
being
it up.
controlled by something that is not a normal human entity. That's the best way I can put it.
Didn't we just say that a cure was destroyed at Humane Labs?
A treatment was, but we still don't know how those
Jill, I
treatments
think for the
fully
3 months,
function
buddy.
or if they have side effects or anything. I mean, the only
Thank
one
you for
that
spoiling
we've
the stream, man.
been able to get hold of is nonsensical when I actually look at the data of it. Not something that I can ever replicate. And I've been trying, trust me.
Didn't even mention that that's one Dark gave
And
up.
as well as
huh?
that, every patient that's been
Doesn't even mention it.
quote unquote cured of this, there's nothing in their blood to show antibodies or anything that we can study to try and recreate some kind of treatment to work on them.
And yet, it does seem that people who get sick and then get cured don't seem to get sick again unless actively
They do
made
have
sick.
they have a immunity to a degree, but it does not it does not like if there is an entity that is higher infected, they can still continue to get infected again. They're not immune to getting fully infected, but they are basically protected to a degree.
I want to ask like a clarifying. Sama is the medical board, right? And I know there's doctors, but where is the biotech expertise coming from? Because there's doctors and then there's biotech engineers that manufacture cures. Where's this expertise coming from? I'm trying to understand that connection.
It's a bit of a strange question.
You get what I'm saying?
Are you saying the treatments that currently exist, or are you saying do
Well,
we
like
have
like the
biotech?
research of it or potential, because it sounds like that there's attempts to create cures at the hospital, but where I'm confused how that leap is happening, right? Like surgeons, virologists, etc.
You know, if you can find those people, that would be great for all of us.
Well,
A lot of this has
we're-
fallen on Jackie and Perry's shoulders, and they've been doing a fantastic job with it. But there's, if we had unlimited manpower and people with the kind of like research backgrounds, that would be fantastic. But they're hard to find.
Is that what you guys were saying, Perry? Is that you guys are making that in the hospital?
Making what? If you were saying, are we researching and trying to create a treatment? Then yes,
Yeah.
at Sandy, not at the CMC. We've been trying to work out a treatment that will help the patients that are currently dealing with it. Of course, I mean, but unfortunately, it's just a lot of it is extremely difficult to understand because it's not very. Every single patient we've dealt with has a different strain to a degree, is the best way I can put it. And it changes each time. So like we can't nail down the exact mechanisms that are causing the sickness. And the treatments that we've seen are not natural in sense. Like the one that we've tested, it's not that it
Who are these
created
guys?
antibodies or like allowed the body to
I
fight
know
off the
everybody else in
infection.
here. I
It
think.
basically just removed it from
Who
them.
these guys are.
So
An undo button.
who is it doctors that are doing it? Are these outside?
No. It's literally just me and her. That's what Princess just let you know.
Oh, it's you two that are doing it. Okay, that's what I was trying to figure out.
Like
Was it the
we're the ones that are mainly dealing with the pet this entire thing, and we've been trying our best to keep it together. I mean, the
see.
hospital is
So it's
informed
not,
of
it
the
wasn't
situ-
we Sama, it's that you two actually, like you two individuals.
As part of the hospital and the attendings, yes.
Can we get you scientists, biotech engineers, etc.? Would that be helpful?
I mean, I'm more than happy for the excess help if there are people that are if there are people that are skilled in that, and we can use them. We unfortunately don't have that heavy
Who's
manpower
Craig?
at the hospital, or we would be using it. You know, we're kind of limited on who we have available to us. But if there is people that you have that are biotech engineers or are good at making are good at that, then we're more than happy to help to get the help as long as they're accredited and are willing to help the hospital.
And
And as long
ideally,
as
we
it's
want
not
them
just
to be
a
a little bit
random.
trustworthy. Yeah. I feel
Yeah, as
like a
long
lot
as
of our scientists around here are like scientists in the way that meth cooks are scientists, you know?
Yeah, as long as it's not just some random person walking up saying there's something without actually like accrediting it, because that's the only issue we've had is we've had people walk up to us try and tell us they're these things, and it's like we can't confirm that, you know.
I'm trying to fill that logical gap of like where the bioscience is coming into play, and this is nothing, no attack on you two, right? I'm trying to.
I understand
There's
what you're saying.
expertise in medicine, and then there's expertise in bio. Two very different fields. There are some I'm going to send you your way. I definitely understand the accreditation bit. If we can't rely on anyone from Humane Lab, that's a problem, right? But in the same way, I can't imagine we're going to expect people with a medical degree to come up with a solution either. It goes against science.
Do we think that the formula of the stuff that was used could be like subpoenaed, or are Humane Lab's going to throw up all sorts of like roadblocks in the way that it would take too long for it to even be worth it?
That's what I want to try and do. I want to try and get the formula from Humane Labs and then get help from the outside.
Well, I think another overarching issue here as well is we had no idea that a shipment was even leaving Humane Labs to where, law enforcement could aid in transporting it and possibly intercepting anyone to interfere with it.
Objection
But it
asked
also
and
might be
answered.
good to work with people that are willing to work with us so that, law enforcement or marshals can, be at Humane Labs while they are there and also kind of watching over them and protecting them due to recent events that have happened there. I know since that I learned of the shipment being intercepted at Humane Labs, I have been doing regular patrols and check-ins over there. But again, with the sensitivity of the content and things being made there and being done there, we need to know. We need to know, and like not necessarily the details of what they're working on, but we need to know that they're there and active. That way, we can try to get ahead of anything that anyone else would try to interrupt what they're doing.
Yeah, that was definitely a lapse in someone's judgment, but we have no way of knowing who. I mean, the fact that there was no protection for that, despite it being, you know, gold.
To be fair, from Humane Labs, I don't think they're fully informed on the situation as far as that. They're just producing whatever this is and then sending it out. So I don't think they're thinking from a perspective of, oh, I need to inform PD so they can protect it. Like they're thinking from a perspective of their normal job is, hey, we've produced this, send it out in shipment, you know?
But someone knows what it is.
I'm not saying there's not leaks. I'm just saying like the entity.
Well,
is
I'm just
Humane
saying
Labs,
that
yeah.
they're working for someone. They are aware, like someone has to be aware of the illness in order for them to be coming up with some kind of treatment, and whether or not the scientists themselves or the producers know what they're producing, someone has to be aware of what they're doing in order for them to even be producing it at all, unless it's some kind of cure-all that
This is
has
chasing
nothing to do
ghosts,
with this
man.
illness but could
This
help.
is just chasing ghosts.
Is the treatment that Humane Labs is producing specifically for this black vein fever? Or are they producing like some kind of Tamiflu that just happens to help with a lot of different things?
I mean, we haven't been able to test any of the ones to know if it is effective on anything else. The only thing that we've been able to seems to be effective on everything for the most part, but I don't know if that one came from Humane Labs. I can't state that verbatim.
I want to go talk to Benny, man. I thought Craig was here. No? I could have sworn Craig was here.
I guess actionably, we've got what Marshall's patrolling Humane Labs. Hopefully, the contact that you have, Perry, is able to reach out to you if there's another sort of shipment of this, and if there's a way to get a subpoena of some sort to get their formula, that would be fantastic. Other than that, at the moment, it seems like we're for the most part relying on cures that are being given by pestilence, and that I have been very curious to observe and see if there's any sort of rhyme or reason to when he gives people cures and what kind and how. It doesn't seem like there's any sort of rule system that he follows other than he seems to like Ember. That's it.
Well, and we also don't know that these cures that he's giving won't cause something has, long-term effects either. So,
Sure, but we also
No.
don't know that about, our cell phones. I think
Look, I
it's
mean, at the end of the day, right now, the only thing we can say is anyone who
It's a
has
wild
been,
compared.
have gone through these treatments, hasn't shown any adverse effects to them as of yet. I
feel
don't know
fine.
the long-term effects of it by any means, but there are no short-term effects as of yet.
And there are, certain bits of, I guess I would call them propaganda that have been, spread around that have said things like, oh, be careful if you take the cure, it's got all these effects. And I know certain people are feeling very, are very hesitant, reluctant to take the cure and are refusing it because of these bits and pieces that we know don't come from the source of the illness. So pestilence isn't the one warning us. We don't know what the credibility is of those sources, but there's definitely some amount of someone out there is giving people warnings about this.
Yeah, I believe there was a book left at the Beachy Show indicating something similar, that the cure was not all that it seemed. And yeah.
I heard something about this too. Something about like the cure is allegedly like mind control or some shit like that.
The book that was left at the police departments is called The Cure. It was a book, essentially a
How the
fictional
fuck does she
story
know this shit?
that says it has a disclaimer. It's like, this is not a real story, but consider how similar it might be to your situation or something like that. And it basically is just TLDR, a story about a doctor who comes to a town where everyone's getting sick with a disease, and he says, "I've seen this disease before. I know how to cure it." He gives a bunch of people a cure. Everyone starts questioning it. They're like, "How do you know the cure?" And then he is like, "Haha, I actually developed the illness, and that's why I know the cure. And actually, now everyone who has taken the cure has superpowers." And then all the people who have the cure are like, "We're better than everyone else," and they create a class system, and anarchy ensues.
Yep.
Yeah.
Basically, the moral of the story in and of itself was that he was perfecting people, quote unquote, in his way, but changing them, in the process. Because that thing was saying that their emotions and whatnot changed. They were not the same people they were originally.
And weirdly, one of the characters had my name, which freaked me out. But that's probably coincidence.
Probably, but regardless, we haven't seen any changes in anyone that has received the cure or the treatment itself. It has not caused any changes in anyone's mental. The only thing we've seen is that some people are healthier than they used to be as well. So technically a positive, if anything. We don't have any other means of dealing with this from our end at all. Like nothing works. No antihistamines, no any of our treatment methods that we want to use. The only thing we can do is stave off it from going any further in them, but we have no other means of actually curing it or removing it from their system. And as well as, again, Pestilence is not working with Humane Labs, so he is not the one producing these treatments.
Do we have any evidence that it has been created?
The treatment, or
yeah, is that the same? Is that ties back to the unnamed contact, right?
I'm confused. Are you talking about the treatment, or are we talking about the sickness?
The treatment.
I mean, we've seen the vials themselves. I mean, so we know they are being made. Yeah.
And that's separate from the pestilence ones?
I don't know if any have come from Pestilence at all himself.
Oh.
Well, but the vials that Pestilence has, the
you on
cure
about?
or whatever it is, the red vial, that's not the same as the thing being produced at Humane Labs? Or is it?
I don't know on that one. I couldn't tell you one way or the other, and unfortunately, I mean, we have not. The only ones we've seen from that end have been directly from Humane Labs, and generally they're given to people immediately, and we can't really do any research on them.
So you guys haven't directly seen the ones provided by Pestilence?
We've only seen one from Dark himself here, but that one I don't know if that came from Humane Labs.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, so I think that one is different.
But Perry got the one from Humane Labs.
Under duress, I had to take it.
Yes.
So Jackie's seen the Pestilence one. Perry has seen the Humane Labs one, but neither of you have seen the other one? Is that what I'm hearing?
Pretty much.
Okay. So at the very, just super basic, were both of them red?
Yes.
Don't think the one that Dark gave me was red. I can't remember though.
It
Dark,
was,
do you
yeah.
remember?
It was
Yeah,
red.
if it was from Pestilence, it's the red one.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's possible it's the same one.
Is it possible that none of the Humane Lab stuff is true? If they're both red, I'm being very skeptical here, right? Because we talked a lot about things that supposedly happen, and as a very, as a massive skeptic, right? I'm just wondering if there's even truth to any of what we've been hearing. I believe we heard these things. I'm just questioning whether what was heard actually happened or was just bullshit.
I don't think anything is confirmed now. I think anything from Humane Labs is yet to be confirmed, given we haven't got our hands on anything.
Like, I'm imagining in the back of my head, like, Zebra doing some, like, wild shit in Humane Labs, saying he's got a cure and all this, and it just spreading around, and none of it's actually real.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Pestilence is aware of the supposed shipment being intercepted. Whether that's accurate or not is just up to whether you believe him. But whatever the case, I think even if the interception did happen, I agree with your skepticism, Nino, and I think that there's no way to confirm that it even happened. But if it did, there's still no way to confirm that the treatment was viable or that it was even a treatment. And I personally wouldn't trust that if we were able to, you know, find any of that treatment that had been intercepted, I don't know if I would trust it to be given to any citizen of San Andreas.
Okay. I think that's sorted then. We've got Pestilence handing out his cure, and then we've got a possible treatment being developed at Humane Labs, but the validity and security has yet to be confirmed. But I think Perry and Dr. Legs here are doing the right thing in following that up and trying to at least get their hands on some so it can be tested and that kind of thing. That's it. We're done. We don't have to keep going back and forth on this, I think. Is there anything else plague related we need to talk about?
Was there anything more you wanted to go through?
Not that I can think of.
I mean, unless anyone else has anything they want to talk about it specifically, I think that's it from our end.
I think the only thing I'll say is, if anybody here is getting contact about anything related to this, just make sure you're contacting, law enforcement, preferably, of the detective type or marshals like myself and Peters. Just keep us in the loop about everything.
I'd say probably go straight to the marshals. I mean, BCSO is banned from investigating this stuff, so.
I mean,
at the very
LSPD is
least-
still doing their side of things, though. So I mean, like
Yes.
Aaron and Doc Masters are available.
Yep.
What do you mean they're banned?
Yeah.
That
Aspen
self did it.
Aspen has self-banned. Aspen has requested that none of her investigators go into this because a lot of them got sick and nearly died, and the there's just a significant amount of danger associated with this that is beyond anything that they have the ability to match.
Should I spill the tea?
And Pestilence has made it very clear
Okay.
that the investigation is what is causing them to get sick.
Is that not like borderline dereliction of duty?
No.
No, because the issue from their side is what are they going to do from a law enforcement side other than like they'll follow up any like information that's given to them, of course. And that's their job. They will, but they like we've said, they're not arresting this guy. He literally has been shot by people and nothing's happened to him. Like this is not like you can't put him in jail. So what is PD supposed to do about that?
And he has directly made people sick and then made them sicker for investigating and said, you are on a 3-strike system. If you mess with him, if you continue investigating, you get more sick.
I have unconfirmed reports that in return of of Sheriff Gray banning BCSO, in return she got 2 vials of the cure.
Was that handed over to the hospital?
No, I believe it was
We have not
handed
received any
to
cure vials,
specific
no.
people to cure them. But again, that's unconfirmed. Get that big fucking wooden spoon out.
There's also been, I mean, a large number of people who have been given at least one, potentially multiple doses of the cure to give to other people. Pestilence seems to have a distaste for people who take the cure themselves if given it. And generally gives it to people who aren't sick to give to other people.
He's told you this?
Yes, and I mean, experienced it firsthand of him giving it to people. I haven't experienced him giving it to people, but people who have it give it to other people. I was told that certain individuals have taken it themselves, and I have heard from him directly that he considers them selfish for what they are doing, and they are most likely not going to receive any more help from him. I know that Chatterbox was given 2 cures, and those went to Happy and Twinkles, both of whom he got sick. So
How often are you talking to this guy?
me?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I've talked to him maybe 4 times total. He has a tendency to pull up on me when I'm parked on the side of the road, like on my phone or something.
Okay.
But a lot of this is from secondhand information or information from people, you know, who have talked to him. I mean, like I said, there's a...
I think his ears were burning because he's calling me right now.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, great.
Not surprised.
What's going on?
Apparently, Perry got a call. Pestilence is circling Sandy.
Sean, unfortunately,
there might
I
not
don't think that...
possibly, there might not possibly be a cure right now, but I think if we can understand what is happening, that can lead us to a cure.
Yeah, and I would say that unless, I mean, I don't really know what kind of misconduct this could be beyond if we treat it as just a regular guy doing biological terrorism, then yes, it's probably misconduct to not investigate it.
To me, the sheriff getting cures given to her and giving them to people and not the doctors is wild.
Yeah, that's insane.
I agree. Wait, did you not?
I mean,
know about
Dark.
this, Faulkner?
This is the first time hearing of any like the PCSO being banned.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
Dark
it
gets a
was-
cure and does the right thing and hands it over to the medical board, and then they get a cure and hand it out. Like, I don't understand that.
If I could get a sample of the cure, I can start researching it.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that I didn't realize that the doctors haven't had their hands on the cure before. I kind of assumed that it was that they had already done all the research on it, because it seemed like that would be the first step, that people would just give it to the doctors. But I guess not. I mean, I don't know whether it would even help, but yeah, I think that any cure should go directly to the doctors. I will also say, what was I don't even remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
Oh, the cure turns to nothing very, very quickly. I mean, I think that's a lot of why people have, you know, used it very quickly, is because after like a couple of hours, it just turns useless.
That's fine. I have equipment at Humane Labs as the director where I can get more research on the cure than what the doctors have at the hospital.
I don't know.
The director of what?
So, are you saying that we should, if any of us get a hand on the cure, we should give it to you as opposed to the doctors,
I'm gonna drive up to Sandy, watch over,
or
Alright.
rather, as
Jackie and
opposed
Yeah,
to,
sounds good.
you know,
I
like
don't
the
mind working with them, but I
CMC.
went to them with my credentials and I was turned away. So I don't know that they want to work with me.
To put a pause in this for a second, while I was on the phone with Dr. Smith, he gave information that suggested he knows everything we're talking about in this room.
Checks
Oh,
out.
there's a fucking camera, isn't there?
Always watching.
Well,
Cigarette packets bugged.
yeah, probably something like that. Some of the saber rattling that you may have heard coming from me. Look, I would like to reapproach Sama in regards to this. I don't want to downplay what they're working on, but look, if we're going to talk rationally about it, they are medical doctors. Jason over here is a accredited scientist. Doc, have you been introduced to Jason and her credentials?
No, this is the first I'm hearing of it. And what exactly is Jason, or ma'am, what are you the director of that?
I'm the director of Humane Labs.
Is
My God,
since when?
this one's got a dick behind this painting, bro. Someone drew a dick behind this one.
For over a year.
Wait, so the whole thing about the interception of the transport and everything, were you thinking really hard during that, or are you just unaware of it?
That place, unfortunately, is not as secure as it should be. There are people going in and out of there all of the time, working their hocus pocus, creating really random stuff. It could have been a cure. It could have not been a cure. And yes, I have been thinking really hard and also working on some intrusive thoughts while in the meeting. So I've been listening, just not able to speak as much as I would have liked.
Yeah, I'm just so that's perfectly fine. Does
fuck?
that should I take that to mean though that the treatment that was intercepted was not you know a Humane
Official.
Labs official treatment?
That was not an official treatment. No.
Okay, and none of your I guess if you have people working there, there were I guess it must have been like after hours or something, but there was not visual of anyone intercepting a shipment or anything happening like that.
Not from any of my employees.
Okay.
Who are your employees,
My
man?
employees have. Pardon?
Who are your employees?
There is myself, Gigi Gambino, and a security force.
I've got a list of doctors that were on the roster of Humane Labs for the month of January. Can you name any of those?
Not in January, no.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, what was that? Like doctors at Humane Lab?
Yeah, the doctors that have been involved with this case for good or bad reasons. I have it.
Non-Sama doctors, I presume.
Yeah, Humane Labs.
Got it. This
I don't
is
know, this-
kind of what I was alluding to, like earlier in the conversation, right? There's Humane Labs, and I put that in quotes. And from my own experience, there's been a lot of Humane Labs individuals. Once again, I'm quoting with the coffee cup in my hand. Knowing what's up and knowing what's down is, is it Zebra? Is it some random people that showed up over there? Is it, Jason's team, right? Is it who is it? My fear, my general fear is it's important for us not to just assume that Sama is our only solution. They're a medical, they're a medical wing, right? Inherently speaking, if we're talking science here, there is only so much a doctor can do when it comes to producing a cure. If we have people in San Andreas, if we have a mechanism by which we can figure out their credentials, we should be leaning on them. If that means getting background checks by the marshals and DOJ, whatever it is, we need to take those approaches. It sounds like, with the only option I've been hearing is, sounds like swinging a magic wand around and hoping pestilence, goes back to, whatever magical hole he came in.
Pestiland. Yeah, I was not aware of the doctors refusing aid from Jason. I don't know why they would do that.
If I may, because I've heard sort of on both ends of the candle here, I think some of it may be coming from the board of directors, right? And the other being the how do you prove accreditation?
Yeah.
Jason, I don't know if you still got the intrusive thoughts going, but I do think now's a pretty good segue to kind of introduce what you've been working on, and I think that may provide some credence to this conversation.
Yeah, I do still have those intrusive thoughts. Unfortunately, we were able to run our samples last night. However, I've not gotten them put into a file yet, which is something I was going to be working on today to hand out to you.
What
Would you be
samples are we
able
talking about
to-
here?
I've had a sample of the black goo to confirm what that is. I was able to get a sample of contaminated blood from around the city that we were able to run samples with. We are seeing how the samples react to each other, all under an electron microscope that is at the lab.
I think, Doc, you and Jason having a sit down would be very valuable.
I mean, I'll be honest, this is the first time I'm hearing of Jason in general, I guess, and I guess scientific practices occurring about this stuff outside of the hospital. And this is the thing. I think the thing with the hospital is they're an authorized medical practice, and that's the kind of what we gravitate towards trusting. But is this the first time that, I guess, Nino, you've had a, I guess, private citizen looking and doing experiments on this stuff? Is this the first time that's been disclosed?
I think the conversation with Sama has been ongoing for 2 months now.
We'll also
Yeah,
point out
I reached out to them. Sorry, Princess.
Oh, I just wanted to also say that Christian Toe at the prison is also doing his own independent research on this.
Wait, who is?
Christian Toe, the doctor in DOC. Just while we were on the topic of, people looking into this besides just Sama. But yeah, that was just a quick note. But Jason, you can go ahead.
Yeah, to clarify, I'm not having an issue with people people who might be experts looking into this. I think that's fantastic, and we need all the able bodies we can on this. I think
communication.
The communication that that we're only hearing about this now after the two doctors have left the room is I would have rather heard about this 2 months ago when it first started up.
I have talked to Dr. Perry. I've tried setting up meetings with Dr. Perry, and our time in the city unfortunately does not overlap a lot of the time. So we have not been able to have that sit down conversation that I think you would have liked to have heard about. But I have reached out to her several times.
I think generally speaking, throughout this meeting, I think a lot of us are learning a lot. I think most of this is a consequence of there was that meeting 6 weeks ago now when you hand us the books. And after that, this has been the only follow-up meeting. So
Yeah,
I think,
there's been a lot of attempts to do that kind of thing. There's a lot of different groups that don't seem to have a lot of information is being gathered in totally different places. I think a lot of this involved, Dark is kind of, and I don't mean to put this pressure on you, but you're like kind of the uniting factor of all of this. And so for the time that Dark was, not able to be working, I think a lot of the communication lapsed. Not blaming you or anything. You were sick and in
No, I get what
ICU,
you're
and that
saying.
wasn't good.
Yeah, I think
I'm just saying, yeah, there needs to be
I
definitely a
agree.
more open communication about all this.
Yeah, I'll just put it like this. I won't cry over spilt milk, and hopefully the doctors don't do the same. Let's just go from here forward with, let's try and have these meetings more often. I agree with you, it's good that, and, if there is people working on this, privately, I guess, let's do our best to bring those into the loop and work with Sam on trying to get that sorted. I mean, Jason, I guess you're around right now, and so is Perry and Dr. Legs. Now might be a good chance to try and, smooth that over and get that sorted.
I'm not 100% around right now. I should have gone back for my lunch break 2 hours ago.
Great.
That is why I'm dealing with intrusive thoughts while in the meeting.
She's not bringing this up now because they're gone. She's been on a tablet
I
handling
understand.
things.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. All right. Well, at least this is steps forward, at least. So.
Who's running? Who's the go-to for all this? I'm all for meeting up and whatnot, but there needs to be a primary stakeholder, right? Otherwise, it is going to be another 6 weeks before there's another conversation.
It's gonna. I mean, it would probably have to be dark. I would perfectly be happy offering myself to it. I've tried to arrange meetings on this kind of thing, but I've been told by a lot of the groups involved that it's, not your problem. Your best bet is to wait and stay out of it.
Well, I think it would either have to be dark or someone from some.
Yeah.
I can do it.
The only issue is that those groups are the most busy trying to fix it.
Yeah, I'll put my hand up and do it. Obviously I was out for those 2 weeks. I just need, I guess this time I'll organize a backup plan in case I'm unavailable. And try and have a secondary person in place. And I'll do my best to directly reach out to every kind of party involved and keep gathering information. All right.
Even throughout this meeting, it sounds like there's a lot that there's probably a whole lot more that is not known to
100%.
folks individually.
Yeah.
I transparently don't believe in, no offense, like 90% of what I'm hearing. I believe there's a plague. It sounds like there might be attempts to create a cure. Outside of that, it sounds like a lot of hearsay. I don't want to question anyone's independent. Did they see ghosts appearing and disappearing, whatever? But you know what I mean? Like, what are you gonna do with that?
Princess.
Yeah. I would also point out that there's definitely more information that we do have and that I can tell people are avoiding talking about, not for any, trying to keep secrets or anything, but it is, considering the skepticism that a lot of people have in terms of this kind of thing, there are certain things that I and others are hesitant to, bring up just because it doesn't seem useful.
Oh, thank you.
Beyond potentially, making others feel that we are probably going insane.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's, it's best to keep this to facts, or at least very, more than 90% likely.
Thank you so much, Junior. May I ask? The doctors ran out. Someone is circling Sandy. Where do you guys, Dark? What, shouldn't y'all respond to that, or what?
Peters is
what
already
am I
up there.
missing?
He's already there.
Oh, there is a marshal. Okay.
Yes.
Is there a threat to the state right now?
I believe it's just Dr. Smith, specifically.
In regards to your guidance and all this, what would your recommendation be to us and our recommendation down to our constituents?
In terms of the plague?
I think in general, I mean, based on everything that's been brought up here, it sounds like there's an active threat. It sounds like they're that this guy, the plague master or whatever the fuck, is still out there. And apparently tapping into our rooms over here, which plague master to my dick, in case you can hear that. And number 3, that there may be attempts to create a cure, but right now there seems to be a possible divide between scientific community and Sama, which I think needs to be resolved. And honestly, Dark, I think possibly if you could help lead the charge to that, by all means. I don't know too much about the topic, only heard a little
Yeah,
bit, but I think
I can do my
Jason and
best.
Sama being there and you being a part of that middle ground, that's probably best.
Yeah, I think I agree. And to your question, I think the last update that we kind of put out was the SAMA announcement specifically about the plague. I think maybe getting another one of those that's just updated just to say the plans that we've got in place when it comes to, if you're sick, go to these places. Make sure that's currently up to date. And maybe just include that we are actively working on this. This hasn't been forgotten if you're sick or anything. Just to kind of, that would be my recommendation from, to keep the pub. Oh, God. Just to let the public know that we're still actively working and investigating it. And maybe an inclusion of the kind of stuff we talked about today, that anybody purposely going out of their way to make people sick, will be dealt with accordingly.
Yeah, let people know that it's.
It's not the kind of thing we. Yeah.
Yeah, should that come from the doctors again or from Sama?
I think maybe Sama, and then kind of they can work it out with you two and just go over it, edit it if need be. Are you guys happy to kind of handle that and get in communication with Sama about that?
Yeah.
All right, sorted. Okay. Is there anything else?
I'm gonna be honest. They set up the meeting, so I
okay.
I don't even fully know what the agenda was.
And I think that was the most of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was probably updates on it. Is what
Yeah, probably. Okay. Well, I will do my best to collab. I don't know what the right word is. Bring together all the information and make sure that it's getting distributed to all the relevant parties, that i.e. yourselves, as I get it, or at least I'll try and do some weekly updates to make sure we're on top of this and things like that.
I'm gonna ask something pretty bluntly, there, Doc.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any confirmation on this being hocus pocus versus there being reasonable explanations?
That's a difficult question to answer because confirmation is I'd like facts and evidence in front of me, which I don't have. This isn't your typical, crazy scientist putting out a plague type situation. There is elements to this that may be questionable to you and to the general public. If you've heard of Norman Bones and the things that people say about him, you're likely going to be hearing the same things about Dr. Smith. I tend not to bring it up because it brings more questions than it does solutions.
Look, I think there's a difference between saying there's stuff we don't know how to explain versus it's 100%, a ghost, a fucking biblical entity, or whatever else.
Right, yeah. There is definitely elements of this that we can't explain, yes.
And I would say that unorthodox methods of investigation and solutions are necessary because this is an unorthodox problem, and whether or not there's anything, let's say, supernatural going on, it's because there's stuff that can't be explained. There's gonna have to be solutions that don't fall within the usual things that we're able to do to respond to regular threats.
You're not wrong. I just urge you to act in your capacity and remember that you are government employees and just act as government employees.
I ain't touching shit.
If you're gonna do that.
No, I think this goes for the entirety of my office. Not interested with dealing with much bigger problems right now. that are occurring on a daily occurrence. Not to downplay this plague thing, but there's a lot of fucking problems right now, including those beeps going off.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Good to go.
I think so. All right. Okay. Thank you, everybody.